Good evening. Welcome to Xang Kevlar TV. I'm your host, Xang Kevlar. Tonight, I want to discuss Governor Kathy Hochul's stance on the NYPD and other local police municipalities' restrictions against aiding ICE. The other day, she came out and she reaffirmed that she doesn't believe that any local law enforcement, including the NYPD, should assist ICE in what she called civil enforcement of immigration warrants, right? So she's trying to make that. I think she's trying to put that into law, and I hope, of course, that she's unsuccessful. However, when you juxtapose that Kathy Hochul in New York State as a whole, law enforcement does assist in civil enforcement. So let's take evictions, for example. In New York State and in the city, once your due process for eviction has been finished and a judge renders their final decision about you having to vacate a premises, the police, the NYPD, are called to keep the peace as peacekeepers, and you have sheriffs and you have marshals, city marshals, that come down there to assist in civil enforcement. But yeah, the police are always on the scene, especially NYPD. Anytime someone is getting evicted, it's always been like that. It hardly ever happens where you don't see the NYPD present and playing some role in an eviction proceeding, especially in New York City. So I don't understand why that's okay. They can put, people who are facing hard times out on the street. They can help the landlords do that and the courts do that. But when it comes to keeping the city safe against these illegal alien criminals, now all of a sudden she doesn't want the police to assist them. So that's just a number democratic hypocrisy that these Democrats, they look at you with a straight face, like, yeah, that makes perfect sense, don't it? It doesn't make perfect sense. As a matter of fact, it's the opposite of perfect sense. It's perfect nonsense. So let's just let that sit for a minute. The NYPD can assist with putting children and helping putting children out on the street and homeless shelters. A lot of times they'll wind up arresting people during these actions because people are highly emotional, and there's a lot of resistance to being put out of your own home. So you can imagine there's arrests being made. That's the reason why the police are there in the first place, to keep the peace. But in order to keep peace, sometimes someone has to be arrested. So the hypocrisy of her saying that she doesn't want the NYPD to assist ICE when they're doing civil enforcement of an immigration law, but it's okay for her and for the police to assist when they're throwing out American citizens out of their apartments because of the staggeringly high rents here in New York City and in New York State. And that's another issue where immigration, especially illegal immigration, plays a huge part in why rent keeps going up and housing is so scarce. But watch this clip of Governor Hochul at a press conference reaffirming her resistance to ICE and her stance that the NYPD should not assist ICE. They should only assist in local law enforcement. Well, then that should be across the board, if you ask me. If they're not going to assist ICE in civil enforcement of immigration law, then they shouldn't be able to be present when people are being thrown out of their homes for whatever reason, you know. A lot of people are being thrown out because they can't afford it, and they got children, they got families, they're single adults struggling, and, you know, once the judge signs that paper, full force of law comes against you. But they want to honor those decisions, but they don't want to honor the detainers, and they don't want to honor the final order of removals that judges in the federal immigration system have proclaimed that these persons have exhausted all of their legal remedies, and now it's time for them to be removed from the country. These Democrats, these far left liberals, who are constantly showing just how much and how far they will go and how far they will bend to serve the interest of these illegal aliens. And it has to stop. So in this clip, you'll see Governor Hochul. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's disgraceful. It's disgusting. I don't know how this woman is still governor. We need to get her out of there. We need to endorse Blakeman. You know, he's a Republican. Bring some common sense order to this state, because these Democrats, their policies are catastrophic, and it needs to stop. It really does. So watch this video. I'll be back.
Including the immigrant communities, but those who are just here, why they have to be rounded up and treated like animals the way they have been? It's just wrong. This law is going to stop that. It's going to prohibit the agreements that allow those jails to be used or police resources to be used for civil immigration enforcement, not criminal.
And the data correction, the inspector, they did an inspection on the 2022.
That the things are not supposed to be up there, so there's nothing up there, right?
No. What they says here, if you read, they said it was arranged as a bedroom, has on their record is as storage. Nothing says that I'm not supposed to be over there.
It says vacant issue to apartment 1C. You can't be. It just says you can't be up there.
No, it doesn't.
Did you ever tell the landlord you were moving downstairs? No.
The landlord was a no-show. It was empty. It was empty. The lady that moved from here was my friend. I said I'm taking. She gave me furniture and everything when she left. I'm exercising my squatter's rights right now.
So only in New York City can you evict a second floor tenant. Marshall comes along, evicts the tenant, and guess what? The tenant went from the second floor, broke into the first floor a few days later.
And have you been paying any bills since then? No.